Tonight at 5, we're learning new details about the officer-involved shooting of Wilson that happened earlier this year, why the officer's attorneys want the district attorney to recuse himself from the case.
It is the end of an era for the Badger defense after Jim Leonard announces he is leaving the organization.
Plus, we take a look back at what the top Google searches were of 2022. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. A load of new details in court filings today as a DCI agent's criminal case waits for a decision on dismissal or recusal.
Mark Wagner is charged with endangering public safety, accused of shooting Quadrin Wilson in the back while trying to arrest him earlier this year. That happened in February. It wasn't until months later in September, after Wilson had reached a plea deal, that Wagner was charged.
A month later, Wagner's defense team asked to dismiss the case. Now, they're also trying to get the Dane County District Attorney to recuse himself.
Our Tahlil Moeddin is here to explain. Tahlil?
Recusal is basically another way for the Wagner's defense team to try and stop the case before the trial starts. They first filed to dismiss the state's charges altogether back in October. There's no decision on that yet, but Mark Wagner's attorneys are also trying this. They want District Attorney Ishmael Ozen off the case going forward. That's because they believe he and his office would be a conflict of interest because of the DA's involvement in the drug trafficking investigation that led to the shooting and arrest of Quadrin Wilson. UW law professor Ian Main says he thinks the motion is just a way for Wagner's defense to get another prosecutor's perspective.
And I can imagine these defense attorneys just looking at that fact going, oh my gosh, what explains why the prosecution is bringing these charges anyway? They have to be biased to bring this charge just reading the complaint because it just doesn't make sense.
Main, however, says the defense's push to get Ozen off and his office removed from the case will likely be denied because it doesn't follow any legal precedent. He believes they also haven't shown a personal connection between Wagner and Wilson that creates a bias or an institutional conflict of interest. Main also says it's common for prosecutorial offices to be involved in investigations, so if that were the basis for recusals, they would be happening daily.
Tahlil, thank you. And you can read more about this developing story at channel3000.com. And there you'll also find more details on the court filing.
Tonight at 6, we'll go over those details, including why authorities believe Wilson was dangerous and why they arrested him the way that they did. That's coming up at 6. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now with details of an upcoming alert day in the forecast. Gary?
Yeah, that's for tomorrow night and Friday. We still have that in for the potential for accumulating snow. Now, last night the issue was fog into this morning. We still have a little bit of fog out there, but hopefully it won't be as dense for tonight. The clouds, though, they just didn't leave most of southern Wisconsin. A few places got peaks of sunshine to our south and to our west, but for the most part, we just stayed socked in underneath the clouds, and I think that'll be the case for tonight as fog starts to form. But most of the precipitation today has been up to the north in the form of some light snow showers and flurries. You can see visibilities right now down to 2.5 miles in Juneau and Dodge County, but most areas seeing visibilities above 5 miles, indicating if there is fog, it's not very thick. Current temperatures, though, are right around the freezing mark here in Madison and a little colder to the north and west. Notice Janesville's still at 36 and Kenosha's at 41, but to the north and west, temperatures are in the 20s out toward La Crosse. Across Dane County, temperatures range from 29 degrees in Sauk City to 32 in Sun Prairie, 33 degrees in Oregon, and 34 in Edgerton. Look for skies to be mostly cloudy this evening. Temperatures dropping into the middle 20s by late evening, and we could see a little patchy fog overnight, but we do have that alert day in the forecast for Thursday night and Friday for accumulating snow, about 1 to 4 inches. The heaviest snow will probably fall late Thursday night into Friday morning. I'll have more on that in the forecast in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. It appears new Badger football coach Luke Fickell is piecing together an experienced coaching staff and now may have the man to run his offense. ESPN's Bruce Feldman reporting that North Carolina offensive coordinator Phil Longo will take on the same role for the Badgers. Longo had high-powered offenses with the Tar Heels and helped develop star quarterbacks Drake May and Sam Howell. The Tar Heels were among the top offenses in college football this year. Meanwhile, it is the end of an era for the Badger defense as Jim Leonard announced on Twitter last night he'll be leaving the program after the bowl game.
Our Andrew Banstra found that while the Badgers walk-on turned 10-year NFL veteran leaves a legacy in Madison, fans are still looking forward.
Initially, my hopes are up because they said he would be staying, and then yesterday we found out he's not.
If Badger fans bleed red, it's because Jim Leonard has their heart. He always has. His departure from the program leaves an open wound that marks the end of an era.
For a program built on continuity and stability, it's been a pretty chaotic 2 months.
As sports columnist Jim Polzine says, Wisconsin football is a fortress of culture and tradition. But the ground Camp Randall sits on has become unstable.
And now Paul Christ was out on October 2nd. Jim Leonard's out now. It's a brand new era.
And while fans are devastated to see Jim Leonard go, you got to admit, the future, it seems bright.
A little disappointing since he's been here for so long, about 7 years now. But the future's bright, I think, with Luke Fickell.
Leonard embodies his home state and Wisconsin football. Against all odds, keep moving forward.
He's an undersized 5'9" defensive back / punt returner who came here without a promise of a scholarship. And by his sophomore year, he was an All-American and a 3-time All-American. Left a legacy here, went to the NFL. Undrafted, nobody thought he'd stick around. Boom, he has a 10-year career.
He joined the Badgers coaching staff in 2016. Within a year, he was revered as one of the nation's top defensive minds. But he stayed home at Wisconsin. Leonard may have his pick of NFL and college jobs, but for Badger fans turning the page to a new era, never say never.
There's time. There's time for him to return if that's the way it ends up. So while this feels very much like an end of an era, I think the way I'd refer to it as a pause in an era, because it would not shock me if Jim Leonard ends up back in Madison at some point.
In Madison, Andrew Banstrad, News 3 Now.
Well, change can be challenging, especially for a fan base rooted in stability. Badger fans say they will support whatever Leonard's future holds, turning the page to the next chapter of Wisconsin football.
Next at 5, a man charged in a deadly shooting in downtown Madison last month was in court today. A criminal complaint shows 40-year-old Edward Smith was the stepbrother of the victim. Smith was arrested Monday and has been charged with intentional homicide. That shooting happened November 22nd near Lakeside Street at John Nolan Drive. Cash bond set at $1 million. It is a record-setting figure. The state projected to have a budget surplus of more than $6 billion.
That's a lot to work with, but how do legislators plan to spend it all? Political reporter Will Keneally has more from the Capitol on what those priorities might look like. Will?
So, Susan, there are really two sides to this. The Democratic governor gets to kind of set the agenda, start with a draft of the budget. That gets turned over to the Republican-controlled legislature, and they get to really make any changes that they want to set some of their own priorities. So where does that leave Democrats on that powerful budget writing committee like Madison Senator Kelda Roys? This will be her first year on the committee, and she says Democratic priorities include staving off brain drain. She also wants to give money back to municipalities, which she says Republicans are not doing enough of.
Republicans talk about defunding the police. It is their own policies that have forced the hands of local government. And it's really unfair to be punishing local governments because they are not able to meet the services that their residents need and deserve.
So she is one of 2 Democratic senators on the committee, representing both Madison and Milwaukee. Even in those larger cities, state aid is crucial, she says, as they have been relying on federal funds to fill in some of those gaps. So tonight at 6, we'll have more from our sit-down with Kelda Roys here. And then also, that's, of course, just on the Democratic side. On the Republican side, they see this budget surplus as just indicative of the state taking too much money from taxpayers and taxes. They want to see some of that money go back to the taxpayers. Reporting from the Capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Will, thank you. It was another close race, but Democrat Raphael Warnock has won the Georgia Senate runoff against Republican Herschel Walker. The win gives Democrats a bit of breathing room in the U.S. Senate, which has been divided 50-50 for the past 2 years, making it harder for President Biden to get his legislation and judicial nominees through Congress. The new edge will give Democrats a majority in all Senate committees.
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments on a push for making rules for elections. North Carolina legislative Republicans argue the legislature alone has the power to set laws applying to federal elections, including drawing maps that favor the GOP. But the state Supreme Court there ruled those as illegal gerrymandering. The legislature now pushing back with something known as independent legislature theory, coming from a debate over what the founding fathers intended. Liberal justices raised concerns of state legislatures meddling in election results, while conservative justices seem sympathetic to the petitioners.
I think what might strike a person is that this is a proposal that gets rid of the normal checks and balances on the way big governmental decisions are made in this country.
This is a federal election, and it's similar to the problem we had with the presidential election in Bush v. Gore.
Justice Clarence Thomas, the only current associate on the panel in 2000, then joined an opinion siding with the state legislature over the state court to stop the Florida recount and award George W. Bush the presidency.
Today is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, marking the 81st anniversary of Japan's attack on the U.S. naval base in Hawaii. The Japanese Imperial Navy launched the strike on December 7th, 1941, drawing the U.S. into World War II. More than 2,000 Americans were killed. The bombings also destroyed a significant number of U.S. battleships and planes. President Franklin D. Roosevelt gave a speech to Congress the following day, famously calling the day of the attack a date which will live in infamy. Shortly thereafter, Congress passed a declaration of war against Japan, marking the beginning of America's role in World War II.
Health officials are now warning people to mask up again as a storm of respiratory illnesses and an uptick in COVID hospitalizations strikes the nation. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
A resurgence of COVID infections prompting mask guidance from the CDC for parts of New York City.
There's still variants that's going around. I know somebody who has it right now.
To see more people gather this time of year in big crowds, that to keep yourself safe and keep those loved ones around you safe, especially those that might be immunocompromised, those that are older. It probably is safer to wear a mask.
The CDC sounding the alarm that a COVID rebound combined with the rise in respiratory illnesses like flu and RSV may soon stretch healthcare workers thin.
The past several years have certainly not been easy, and we now face yet another surge of illness, another moment of overstretched capacity, and really one of tragic and often preventable sadness.
California is expecting to see COVID and flu hospitalizations rise 66% by January. The health department reporting that flu activity has now jumped from moderate to high, saying in a press release, hospitals across the state are working to add pediatric beds as quickly as possible. But the number of children who need hospitalization is currently outpacing their ability to expand. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
And U.S. health officials say this year's flu shot does appear to be standing up to the strains that are circulating, but it appears many Americans are simply not taking advantage of it. The CDC estimates at least 8.7 million flu illnesses, 78,000 hospitalizations, 4,500 flu deaths so far this season. Despite the high number of cases, flu vaccination rates are lower this year. Officials say getting a flu shot is key to protecting yourself and those around you. Coming up, Gary has more on an upcoming weather alert day.
Plus, what the suspect in the North Carolina power outage left behind that could offer key clues in the investigation. And later, a closer look at the new way the Rock County Sheriff's Office is working to fight the fentanyl crisis. We'll have details on that tonight at 6.
And the markets in midweek trading, the Dow with a marginal gain adding 1.5 points. The Nasdaq falls 56. The S&P 500 loses 7. We'll be right back.
The original immersive Van Gogh exhibit is now open at Lighthouse Art Space, Madison. Get lost in the sights and sounds of this completely spectacular, vivid, and breathtaking immersive art experience that ABC calls absolutely stunning. The New York Times raves that the original immersive Van Gogh exhibit is a must-see, lavish artistic festival. Tickets available now at vangoghmadison.com.
I became an orthopedic surgeon for a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons.
To help you take walks again. To ease your pain.
To rebuild your strength.
And at every step along the way,
we take the time to answer all your questions.
We're here because we care.
We care about you.
You.
They care about me. Sauk Prairie Healthcare Orthopedics, now offering robotic-assisted knee replacement.
Our biggest sale of the year is held over, so there's still time to get Black Friday deals during our huge Thanksgiving sale, held over at Slumberland Furniture. Incredible prices, plus get 30% off on top of that store-wide. Get your final chance for Black Friday deals and 30% off? Yep, held over. And don't forget, mattress shopping is easy, fast, and comfortable at Slumberland. Come see our difference and get a great sale on a mattress today.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
The Internet of Things is evolving, creating the Internet of You. And Spectrum, America's leading internet provider, is bringing you seamless connectivity across all your devices. Introducing Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet with speeds of 300 megabits for smoother surfing, streaming, gaming, and more. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced security and privacy on all your devices. And one line of Spectrum Mobile with unlimited talk, text, and data and nationwide 5G included. Get it all for just $49.99 a month. Call 833-882-4999.
Tonight at 6, find out how Rock County is making emergency overdose treatments easy to find and use.
And we'll also demystify the circumstances around the investigation into Quader and Wilson and how we got here. That's tonight at 6.
Be prepared for winter weather. Trust the First Warn Weather Team to give you clear, timely, and accurate info. Keeping you safe and ahead of the storms. Your certified, most accurate team, First Warn Weather. Only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Life is on hold for just under 20,000 people in North Carolina after attacks on utility substations last weekend. But Duke Energy now says the damaged substations are fully repaired. And as Isabel Rosales explains, new evidence is bringing authorities closer to finding out who did it.
Utility crews scrambling to bring back power.
This was something that just happened out of the blue, and now we're all suffering, and it's not right.
Most customers set to get electricity back before midnight. It's been 5 days of lights out for families in central North Carolina. The power outage, costly.
We're just stranded.
Some unable to work or have a hot shower. Thousands forced to sleep in emergency shelters.
No lights, no power, can't really do nothing.
A sniper effectively disabling 2 high-voltage transformer stations.
The people who did this understood the electric system in the area, and they knew which specific substation to target.
Newly released evidence will offer key clues as to who plunged Moore County into darkness. Multiple law enforcement sources say the attacker left behind nearly 24 shell casings. Investigators can now pinpoint firing positions, and ballistic testing could lead to a match to other crime scenes.
It is a selfish act. It is cruel. There's so many people that are hurting.
The FBI releasing this poster seeking more information. Meanwhile, questions only grow as to whether critical infrastructure needs more physical security.
And we need to ensure that they have some very simple, inexpensive ways to stop these kinds of attacks from happening.
I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
Investigators can enter the casings into an ATF database to match them to other shell casings that may have been fired by the same gun at another crime scene or to the gun if the weapon is recovered. Let's get a check on the weather now. Here's Gary. He's back with a snow weather alert day. Gary?
Yeah, that is for Thursday night into Friday. Still looking at about 1 to maybe 4 inches of slushy snowfall during that time period. Temperatures are going to be very critical because they're going to be at or just slightly above freezing. So another degree or 2 warmer, and some areas could see much less in the way of snow. If it's a degree or 2 colder and the snow transition from rain to snow takes place a little bit earlier, we could be more toward the higher end of those amounts. But this will affect most of southern Wisconsin. As we look at Doppler track tonight, just some snow showers moving through far northern Wisconsin and upper Michigan, now into lower Michigan. Those are heading away from us. But looking at future track beginning at 6:30 on Thursday evening, notice at that point we're probably still dry here. Some of the later computer models have backed off just a little bit on the timing of the precipitation. But as it moves northward, notice this is by 10 p.m., just starts getting into southwestern Wisconsin. The northern edge is snow. The southern part is rain. But that rain-snow transition takes place overnight. So as we're down to 6 o'clock on Friday morning, we're still looking at mainly snow across most of southern Wisconsin. Because of the later onset of precipitation, it looks like the snow might hold on a little bit later into Friday. Yesterday, the back edge of the snow is snows around Madison at noon. Now it's a little bit farther out to the west, so this might be more of a later Thursday night into, say, early Friday afternoon event, but then eventually pulls off to the east, and we're just left with a few flurries. Snowfall amounts, right now, it's a more targeted band. The northern part of the Midwest looks like it'll stay dry now. The southern part will see mainly rain, so we're looking at a narrow band of about 2 to 4 or 5 inches of snow west and northwest of Madison. Right now, there are winter weather advisories in effect for southern Minnesota, far southwestern Wisconsin, and much of northern Iowa from Thursday night, 6 p.m. Thursday night until noon on Friday. High temperatures over the next 10 days get back into the lower 40s early next week, so much of that snow should melt, but we may see additional snow accumulation as we head from now Wednesday into Thursday of next week. That next storm system keeps getting backed off a little bit more, but we're still looking at generally light accumulations because of a later changeover from rain to snow. Winter weather advisory, 6 p.m. Thursday evening until noon on Friday for areas west of a Platteville to Lone Rock line. Planning your night. Tonight, look for skies to be mostly cloudy, maybe a little patchy fog. Low 26 in Verona, 26 in Dalyville. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, 27 in Janesville, but down to 17 in Camp Douglas and 19 in La Crosse. For tomorrow, variably cloudy skies. Should be dry during the day with a high temperature of 39. Again, future track beginning around 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Cloudy skies for the evening. Then that precipitation starts to move in. The bulk of it arriving after, say, 2 o'clock in the morning. Light snow, occasionally moderate snow into early Friday morning, but by Friday noon it starts ending west of Madison and then moving off to the east. And notice those temperatures right around freezing or a little bit above. Snowfall amounts probably 1 to 3 inches most areas. There might be some 3 or 4 inch amounts, especially west and northwest of Madison. Look for a high of 37 on Saturday with maybe some rain and snow showers in the afternoon. Then we'll look for that storm system the middle part of next week, starting as rain, ending as snow, and also windy and colder toward the end of next week. As we check out first warn traffic, here's the view of the Beltline at Park Street right now. Traffic moving pretty steadily on the Beltline. However, there is an accident at Stoughton Road near Flom Road, so we're seeing some delays, especially southbound on Stoughton Road right now. Heading across Madison, 25 minutes on the Beltline from University Avenue to I-3990, 15 minutes back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, 25 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990, 17 minutes US 12 Middleton to Sauk City, and downtown to Sun Prairie will take you 19 minutes on East Washington Avenue. That's your news for now. First warn traffic.
Gary, thank you. As Ukrainian troops fight to take back territory from Russian forces, some are finding comfort in caring for puppies they rescued from the front lines. Newborn pups Black and Red were found barely alive after their home was destroyed in fierce fighting in eastern Ukraine. Soldiers spent several days nursing them back to health with milk from a syringe. Now that the furry friends have grown, they've switched to military rations, feasting on stewed meat and potatoes.
Valeria says we actually save animals from practically every battlefield we go to. Sometimes kittens, sometimes puppies. Then we help them find new homes.
Officials say soldiers, charities, and shelters have helped save tens of thousands of animals abandoned or injured in the war. Still ahead at 5 as the year winds down, Google releases the top searches on the site for 2022. What topped the list? Find out next.
Now, First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Clean, safe, fun. I wanted it all when we needed daytime care for Mom. Oh, Grace's new adult day center is so nice. Now she goes twice a week while I'm at work and loves it.
A Grace, caring every step of the way.
If you already know that a blend of tender, marbled Wagyu beef makes the best burger, good for you. Arby's Wagyu Steakhouse Burger is back. You beef genius? Arby's, we have the meat.
Wells Fargo lets you know where you stand with your FICO credit score. What if you knew where you stood with everything? Like your future in-laws.
Hope you like cats.
I hope your parents like me. They're whispering.
The kitties like her.
Can they tell I'm allergic? Tears of joy.
Welcome to the family.
Like knowing where you stand? When it comes to your credit score, you can with Wells Fargo.
to Massage Envy, where more people go to look and feel better. Buy $100 in Massage Envy gift cards and receive a free $20 promo card. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
After a lifetime in the jewelry business, Pete Denny is retiring, and Denny's Jewelers retirement sale is in progress. Save up to 60% off store-wide. All must go. All bridal jewelry, all colored stone rings, all silver jewelry, all pearls, all diamond bracelets, and pendants. Absolutely every finished piece is up to 60% off. Pete Denny and family are saying thank you, Middleton, for 40 years of support. Join us for our retirement celebration. Pete Denny is retiring, and Denny's Jewelry retirement sale is in progress. Save up to 60% off. All must go. 1903 Cayuga Street, Middleton.
Here's to the holidays. Here's to the casserole queens and Santas who saute. To the turkeys brined in beer, and well, just beer. To the ones who do the most, and the ones who do the least. To the classic traditions, and whatever you call this one. This year, no matter how you holiday, Festival has you covered. Festival Foods, a Wisconsin tradition since 1946.
Hey, there's my girl. Who's that?
Life can be uncomfortable. Your home doesn't have to be. Whether you're looking for all the advanced features or something with a lower upfront cost, with Rheem heating equipment, you can stay comfortable even in the most uncomfortable situations.
Oh, come on. Yes, let's go.
Feel the Wohlers difference. Call Wohlers Heating and Air Conditioning today, serving Dane County for over 45 years.
Welcome back. Typing something into Google gives the tech giant a unique perspective into what we're all thinking.
Now, Elise Preston has a look at what was on Americans' minds this year.
The top trending Google search in 2022 can be summed up in a word. Yes, we're talking about the widely popular game Wordle, which gives players 6 chances to guess the word of the day.
I feel like it popped up out of nowhere and everyone was obsessed within like a day or so.
Totally. It became one of those viral games. Yes, lots of questions about how to play, but also some searches that make me think people might be cheating.
Google's Sarah Armstrong says the second top trending search was election results as people looked for the midterm winners. Those we lost rounded out the top 5: Queen Elizabeth, Betty White, and Bob Saget.
I have never struck a woman in my life.
In Google's People category, thanks to the Depp v. Heard defamation trial, actor Johnny Depp took the top spot, with ex-wife Amber Heard occupying number 3. Will Smith was the second most searched person. He went viral after slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars.
Good morning, aviators.
Tom Cruise's Top Gun Maverick landed in Google's number 3 spot for most searched movies.
Jane?
Thor: Love and Thunder was second, with the animated film Encanto on top. COVID queries are still common, including PCR tests near me. But a lot of people are thinking about fuel costs.
This year was gas prices near me that made the very top of the near me list. Those gas prices skyrocketed this year.
Americans were also looking for ways to lend a hand. The phrase, how to help, hit an all-time high in 2022, a search trend that may offer some optimism heading into 2023. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Speaking of helping, 3 of the top trending help searches for U.S. users included how to help Ukraine, how to help Ukrainian refugees, and how to help Ukraine Army.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Give a beautiful finish to your projects with Minwax Wood Finish from Menards. Minwax is a penetrating stain that enhances all types of wood and dries fast. Save big money and give your projects a beautiful new finish with Minwax. Keep your home sealed up and dry with help from Menards. Fill and seal gaps and cracks with Loctite Tight Foam. This sealant insulates effectively and expands to fill gaps up. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
McGann Furniture and Flooring has a question for you. Do you have a hard time sleeping comfortably through the night? Is your mattress 10 years old or even older? Chances are you're due for a new one. Mattress technology has changed a lot in the last 10 years. Our experienced staff will help you find the right style, construction, and firmness that will give you years of sleeping comfort. And remember, we don't raise prices, only to lower them later for a sale. With delivery and disposal of your old set, we make it easy to have the bed of your dreams at McGann Furniture and Flooring, downtown Baraboo.
It's a fact.
2 out of 3 Americans who qualify for Medicare do not receive all the benefits they deserve. You could be missing out. Now, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield introduces a free Medicare plan checkup to make sure you receive all the benefits you qualify for in 2023. Call 1-855-597-0884 today and receive extra benefits for a $0 monthly premium. Benefits like dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drugs. And to help you stay healthy at home, you can have free prescription drug delivery, online doctor visits 24/7, and free exercise classes. You can even receive money towards over-the-counter health items. Call 1-855-597-0884 today and feel confident you have all the benefits you deserve for 2023. You can receive extra benefits for a $0 monthly premium, like dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drugs. Call 1-855-597-0884 and make sure you're not missing out.
How do you use your energy? Inspiring a spark of creativity? Working hard to reach your goals? Thinking outside the box to bring your vision to life? At Alliant Energy, we're creating more clean, renewable energy every single day to power what matters to you. Because even during the most powerful moments in our lives, we're not thinking about power, we're thinking about a brighter future. Alliant Energy, powering beyond.
Here's to the guy with the tree in his kitchen who can't talk right now because his elderly neighbor needs help. Here's to the generator in the middle of the street with extension cords running to 4 different houses. Here's to the countless acts of kindness that helped the Midwest recover from one of the worst storms in recorded history. You've given a whole new meaning to the term silver lining. The worst brings out our best.
There's the live view from the Edgewater Skycam. A little hazy fog out there, not too bad. Visibility right now 9 miles in Madison. A little thicker fog to the east, but still, I don't think it's going to be as widespread or as dense as it was last night. But temperatures are right around freezing again here in Madison, 32, still 36 in Janesville, but in the 20s to the north and west. And we have temperatures in the low to mid 30s across Dane County. Got an alert day tomorrow night into Friday for snow.
All right, Gary, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.